The word get is a verb. The dictionary defines it as receiving or having possession, use, or enjoyment of, coming to a specified place, arriving, reaching, and lastly, to succeed, to become enabled, or to be permitted. So with all that said, did you get it? Good. Welcome to Get the Podcast.
You better get it while the getting's good. It won't be long until I'm gone in all likelihood. Misinformed is an excuse, be the engine that could. I know my roots, I know my rights, and still misunderstood. I'm getting to it.
Hey, what's up, people? It's your friendly neighborhood Negro, JC. And Get the Pod is a micro pod where I give my 2 cents, a couple quarters, and a few dollars on some hot button issues in not only the Black community, but the overall global community. All of the episodes will be under 20 minutes with the goal of, hopefully, getting you to the point of fruitful and meaningful conversations with those in your immediate friend groups and circles. So, you got it now?
Yep.
You get it yet?
Think so.
Good. Let's go. Oh boy. You know, ironically, the title of this recording was going to be 1 + 1 does not equal 2. And it was going to be written out in number form with the not equals sign that we all have learned from math class. But I did a Google search on the not equal sign. Like something told me to do a Google search on not equal sign. And I found out that much like everything else in this world, purely mathematical, purely neutral, purely innocuous thing, something not equaling something, a sign for something not equaling something, has actually been co-opted by white supremacists. And it now means that the races, quote unquote, even though there's one human race, but the quote unquote races are not and will never be equal. And I just think, how ironic. Because child, man, white men trying to decide what the fabric of society is, it's something that it just seems to be a pattern of it's pervasive. And I think when you can name a thing, you can speak about a thing, you can change a thing once you know what the thing is. And it's like, you co-opted the not equal sign. Why would I not be surprised? You literally co-opted the swastika, something that's been around longer than most of your existence is. And the swastika meant just eternal life, bro. Like resurrection, it just meant a never-ending thing in another religion. And you co-opted that to mean and stand as a symbol for hatred and death. So why am I not surprised that you co-opted an innocuous symbol that didn't mean anything, but anywho. So y'all, I have been on the phone collectively today at least 7.5, 8 hours. It's probably the most I've been on the phone in a very long time. But I've had 2 very substantive conversations with 2 individuals who are very on the opposite sides of the spectrum. But for this particular recording, we're going to talk about the conversations that I had with a transgender individual. Because I didn't go for it. Got me together. And there were points where we had to agree to disagree. Definitely. Because we're both very strongly opinionated people. We share the same birthday. So there you go. If y'all niggas know me, y'all niggas know Capricorns. Y'all know we bullheaded. Nigga, we stubborn. Nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? I enjoy a good sparring match. Yes, I do. But this is going to be a very different post. It was going to be something that was incendiary and and harmful. And I say harmful in a way that it's not me being malicious, but it's the power in which words, ideas, thoughts becoming things, because I've had discussions with trans people in the past where I'm trying to get people to understand. I'm asking transgender people, like, how do you think it would be best to help people understand you all better so that way you do not face existential crisis whenever you leave your front door for being who you are? And I'm still trying to figure that out. But I would ask them this question, and the response was always, well, asking a transgender person to step into space with people that are not like transgender and speak about their experience, but to have that experience be challenged or questioned is inherently violent, right? And I never really understood the statement. My existence, to a lot of people, being Black and being a man, is inherently violent to some. And so I can understand that in that way. I can understand that in that particular facet of being oppressed. But to be trans and to be Black and to be brown is to threaten the existence of many people simultaneously all at once, just for daring to have the courage to be yourself and step outside. And being a Black man, for all intents and purposes, like, I just really offend white people. And I can deal with that because that's just really, you know what I'm saying? I just really offend white people. And that's cool. I mean, it's been this way for a long time. But I mean, you know that. But to be trans and Black is to offend white people, is to offend Black people, is to offend some brown people, is to offend some women, is to offend some. It's to be the sheer existence of you, the sheer, again, audacity of you daring to live your life. That is, I can't fathom what that's like. Only a piece of it, right? Only a piece of it. In the same way that I can only understand a slight piece of what it's like to encounter these hardships that women face, the inherent violence that women face, from men or, women or those that identify as such. I can only partially understand that, And so we had a very long discussion. Again, about 4 hours, bro. Shout out to my friend Adrian. And this person, the thing that got me was, and I'm a big believer in facts. Not a big believer. I'm a big 1 + 1 = 2. I'm a big fundamental person. Like, if the foundation of the house ain't good, then the goddamn house gonna fall. And we seeing that, with white supremacy and all these things, and patriarchy and all these things. But this person says to me, because I say, why can't I accept what you're saying, but you essentially refuse to accept what I'm saying? And the response was, because the things that you say, the outlook that you have, as close to facts or whatever have you may be, your lived experience will never include like the dangers and the inherent like just oppression that I face on a daily basis. So you're able to look at things from this black and white kind of pragmatical situation where this is this and that is that. Whereas me, Adrian, the person that exists inside of a margin, like literally exists inside of something that is not what we have been taught, that thinking that you have, that pragmatism that you have is and can often be and oftentimes is translated to violence. And it threatens my existence. And it threatens the existence of people that I love. And it just literally causes me harm, right? Thoughts become things. Things become actions, you know, stuff like that. And when that was said to me, I was like, oh, fuck. I never thought of it in that way. Like, just seeing the world in a way that is this or that. Being a human that doesn't fall in these margins, how intrinsically harmful that is, right? Physically, mentally, in this world. To, you know, and it's just, it's mind-boggling to me because I like never would have considered it in that way. Like I couldn't, going back to earlier when I said like, yo, when I would talk to trans people and they would say asking trans people to talk and speak in front of people that are not trans about their experience is inherently violent. That is something that I didn't understand. Like I literally, it was like, oh shit. Like I'm still flabbergasted about it. Like I've been off the phone with this motherfucker for, man, at least an hour and a half now. And I'm still processing this thought. Like this, just the simple act of existence. Like the simple act of being someone who does not exist inside of a line in a world built on lines. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like how inherently dangerous and deadly that can be. And I'll never fully understand it because I'm not trans. I'm a happily cisgendered man. I'm a happily cisgendered male individual. I don't want to be anything other than, quite frankly, what the world has told me to be. I'm comfortable with that. You know, I am largely okay with that. But Adrian is a person that is not. And how do you move in a world like that, right? Like that is fascinating to me. Not fascinating in the way of I'm speaking about trans people as if they're test subjects, but it's just fascinating to me because it's a thought train that I never would have actually had unless I spoke to a trans person. Correction, because I've spoken to trans people before. Unless I spoke to a person whose experience, whose life, whose opinion, whose humanity I value, right? Whose humanity I respect enough to actually have this 4-hour conversation. God damn, I owe you Drakes, nigga. I owe you more than Drakes. I'll buy you something. But you know what I'm saying? Like whose humanity I value in such a way that their words pierced me to the core. Like, again, this was a very, very different episode before this 4-hour conversation. And I still hold the beliefs that I have because that's, you know, who I am. Will they change? More than likely. But for the most part, I am a person that is pragmatic, who believes that if humans could deal with the truths, the simple truths first, if we could deal with the shit at the bottom of the foundation, that's the basic stuff, then we could deal with the complex. And I feel like we're trying to deal with the complex without actually starting at the base, which is people are people. People are human. That's the first thing. And then it breaks off from there. But like the immensity, like the heaviness of their words, like it really hit, man. Like it really, really, like that shit hit different because this is someone I care about telling me, I can understand what you're saying, but you don't understand what I'm saying because you don't understand truly who I am as a human. So let me just explain it to you in this way. I can't fuck with that because it doesn't fuck with me. And it doesn't fuck with me in a way that could do harm to me, that does harm me every day that I walk, I live, and I breathe. And I'm just like, fuck, man. Like I didn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm speechless. Me, speechless. Me, the nigga who does this, the micropods, where I talk for like 10, 15 minutes at a time. Like me, I have nothing to say. Like, I'm just like, because it's just that mind-boggling and that, like the simple act of saying something like 1 + 1 = 2. The simple act of applying that to someone who is trans is harmful, right? Like I don't really know what to go. I don't know where to go with that, right? Like, I don't know where to go with that. I don't know how to, outside of just being, again, speechless and just being flabbergasted and floored, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's amazing. Not amazing in a good way. It's just like awe-inspiring. It's just, it's very hard to put into words. So with that being said, happy Trans Visibility Day, or Trans Day of Visibility to all of my transgender folks, especially the black ones. Love y'all niggas. And hopefully one day we can get to a point where people don't look at you all as a bathroom sign or an offense to the monolithic sports gods or just anything as other than human beings that deserve to live life just like any other human being on this planet. Or let's be real, that deserve to live life as free and as unbothered and as potential filled as a heterosexual white man. Because let's be real, that's what we talk about here, right? You know, to be able to live life without interruption. One day. Peace. Get the Podcast is a production from the OVT Network with original artwork by Kenzo Sturdivant and original music by Sincerely Blip. The podcast is hosted and edited by me, your friendly neighborhood Negro, JC. If you found value in anything I've said here today, please subscribe, like, share, and comment on YouTube or Instagram at the OVT Network. You can also connect with me, JC, on IG at JC from the OVT. Gotta keep it simple, right? Don't forget to rate us 5 stars and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever your podcasts are casted. And lastly, did you know that if you share this podcast with just one person, we would double in size the community? So, with that being said, get to sharing, goddammit. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you listening. Peace.